We're hearing that President Joe Biden is coming out and demanding that more stimulus be passed as the United States has hit the major milestone. Cases are increased and inflation is at a 41-year high. And he's saying that inflation is high, we got to deal with it on a federal level. However, it's not his fault. We're hearing that Americans, they're not happy about that statement. They're not buying it and they're saying it's not about whose fault it is. Just get out some help. Now let's take a look at some of the headlines that are coming out and let me know your thoughts. First up, pandemic deaths past 1 million as concerns are raised about protections. And yes, it's very unfortunate over 1 million lives has been lost due to this 2.5-year pandemic. And take a look at the US cases, you guys. Right now as of May 12th. Yesterday, new cases 115,000 in the United States with a 7-day moving average at 88,000. On the incline, and right now we're hearing there are concerns about this new Omicron Delta variant hitting around fall winter time. And they're saying if it does, it could overrun hospitals again and disrupt our economy. And the thing with this one is they call it the stealth because you could get sick and not even know it. You could test for the pandemic, come out negative, then test several days later, and then Tom came out positive. And it turns out you did have it, but you didn't even know it. And so they're saying this is spreading even more so because people are testing negative in the first couple of days of contracting the pandemic. So we will see you guys, but we're hearing that there's major concerns of his team and the president is calling for more funding to help battle this. And we might also need to see other faces and more direct assistance for people. Because not only are we dealing with a pandemic, but now we're dealing with record high inflation of 41 years. And take a look, you guys, the president is addressing this as we're hearing this is the number one concern right now, people. Biden thoughts inflation, another swing and a miss though. In his opinion pieces, he says that voters, they're saying they're not buying it and we're hearing only 1/3 of the nation right now actually approves of the president's performance. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now I'm going to be sharing with you the Republican perspective on this and what they're saying about inflation and what the president is doing and how they're saying he is playing the blame game. As we're hearing his blame Russian President Vladimir Putin and the previous administration, President Donald Trump and the administration, and we're going to hear him make a very interesting statement. Let me know your thoughts. He says that inflation was hard during the previous administration, which is very interesting since we've been getting reports that it is at the 41-year high, which means hasn't been this high for the last 40 years. So let me know your thoughts, you guys. But what they're saying is he's just pointing fingers left and right, trying to get the blame off of him as we're entering midterm elections. And they're saying really what you need to do is just focus on taking care of the problem and getting our provisions and assistance to help our people and doing it in a way that won't cause inflation to go up even higher. Now let me know the thoughts. I'm going to share with you the video footage so you can see it for yourself, and he's coining the new faces, ultra mega for the previous administration. He's saying we do need to address this on the federal level for everybody. And I also mentioned that on the state level, we have seen the biggest stimulus checks proposed so far, $5,500 per person. But we're hearing the president say on the state level is not good enough. We need to do this on the federal level for everybody as well. Now also we're hearing that this is very much needed in this level of inflation. And for those on SSI and SSDI, we're hearing that they're going to need a big bumps up as well. And there's a lot mentioned now about those $200 per month payments that were supposed to go out that Biden had talked about during his campaign run, as they haven't come to fruition and higher inflation continues to point to bigger social security costs of living adjustments or COLA for 2023. And they're saying if it bumped it up by 5.9%, which is what we saw last, but inflation is that 8.5% doesn't really help out those on those benefits. and they're saying we're going to need to see a bigger pump up. And also, what about those $200 per month provisions that were suggested before? Let me know your thoughts, you guys, but we're gonna dive into the latest as all information is starting to roll out, and we're going to see in how Congress respond in this midterm election year. Inflation was at 1.4% when Joe Biden walked into the White House. That was President Biden yesterday, blaming now Republicans this time being responsible for the soaring inflation and record high gasoline prices. Joining me right now is Kentucky Congressman Andy Barr. He is member of the Financial Services and Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, thanks very much for being here this morning. You just heard that Biden is also really trying to make the word ultra-mega a bad word. Of course, we all should want to make America great again. But unfortunately, I think the American people are laughing off the Joe Biden's claim that somehow inflation was worse under the previous administration. As you said, inflation was less than 2% the entire term of the previous president. It has soared since the overspending policies of this administration. And it's not just the overspending, it's the fact that this administration use any of these companies do this. But the fact of the matter is, this inflation crisis resulted in a toxic mix, a supply-demand mismatch, and a toxic mix of bad policies from this administration, from congressional Democrats and the Federal Reserve. All the while, this administration it was constraining the supply of energy and labor and threatening higher taxes, which froze business investment. Congressional Democrats were on a spending binge that created excess demand. And then the Federal Reserve, despite our warnings, continued its quantitative easing program, continued to buy assets and continued to keep interest rates too low for too long. And this created this disastrous fourth-year high inflation. Yesterday's Department of Labor report shows that inflation is not transitory. It is staying with us. Prices continue to rise across every category, and the only reason, Maria, that we didn't have a ninth consecutive month of inflation rate increasing was because there was a slight easing in fuel prices last month. This month there was a total reversal as gas prices this week hit a $4.37 nationwide per gallon high. Again, gas prices are historic high. The American people are not buying this. They can't afford it. Congressmen, they're talking about inflation at the kitchen table, but the lawmakers on the Democrat side, progressives, are instead talking about abortion. There's marching from the House to the Senate just before Senator Joe Manchin tanked the party's abortion bill. Here's Senator Joe Manchin yesterday on why he voted no to that bill. That makes no mistake. It is not Roe Wade. A codification is an expansion. It was 500 state laws of the books. It expands abortion, and with that's not where we are today. We should not be dividing this country further than we're already divided. So there you have it, you guys, a whole lot there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and we're going to see if President Joe Biden can pull off legislation, if he's going to be doing executive orders and executive actions, and if he does, what for and how will it impact our economy.